In this episode of the Innovative Schools podcast, we sit down with the Tracie Berry-McGhee as she talks about social media and how it affects student relationships, cyberbullying, and how her L.O.V.E principles can address these issues. Come on, let's learn together. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Innovative Schools podcast. My name is Liz, and today on this episode, I am joined by my good friend and co-host, Jordan. Hey, Jordan, how's it going?
Hey, Liz, it's great. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so glad you're here, too. So, Jordan, would you tell me who we have joining us on this episode today?
Absolutely. I would love to tell our listeners and you about Tracie Berry-McGhee. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so glad that you're here with us.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
It really is. I'm really excited to do something else with you. We've done a couple of things in the past. So I've gotten to know you, but many of our listeners may not know much about the Tracie Berry-McGhee. What are some of the things that you're doing with your life now?
Well, you know, I'm the founder of the I Define Me movement, and it's continued to grow in every aspect, from local, national to global. In addition to us working with girls, focusing on social emotional learning and relational aggression, we're also diving into this digital literacy world. We have a joy mascot.
Yeah,
We have a wellness mobile, all kind of cool things. We're talking about entrepreneurship. We always say the wheels on the bus go round and round, but not all through the town. But now they're going all through the town because we're bringing an aspect to what it looks like for girls to really define themselves.
Yeah, I just want to know a little bit more about your mobile, the Joy Mobile.
So I call it the I Define Me Wellness Mobile.
Okay, got it.
Yes, it's the first of its kind in the country, and if you've ever seen it, it was literally, we chose to purchase, it looks like a UPS truck, and we purchased it during the pandemic because a lot of our girls really needed to connect with each other. And we needed to get out in the community and make sure that they were okay. So when you come on the Wellness Mobile, you can take a selfie and you can post positivity to social media. You can take the pledge, our I Define Me pledge. You can get a keeper kit where you receive a keeper bear to take care of yourself, to talk to the keeper bear versus to social media all the time.
Yeah.
And you also get body butter and lip balm and lanyards and a period pack, because oftentimes the communities that we serve, the period poverty is real. So it's just another resource to reach out to our girls to make sure that they know that the community has their back.
Yeah, and you go to schools and
school-based.
Like where all does it go?
That's right. So that's our local piece. And so we are able to go to different schools in our community back in my hometown. And the goal is to have a wellness mobile that goes into every town, like a huge bus.
Yeah.
So we could do the whole Joy tour.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then we have our wellness mascot. Her name is Joy. And
it's a new addition to the family.
Yes, she is. Joy is an acronym for Just Be an Original You.
Oh, that's incredible.
Important.
Oh, I love that.
And she's all about digital literacy and wellness. And so she goes out and takes selfies and wheezies and ussies with everybody. And so it's really a cool concept because it allows girls to realize that we have more in common than we do different.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you shouldn't be leaving each other out. That's important.
Yeah, that's great.
Incredible.
Can you tell us a little bit about Sista Keeper? Did I say that
Keeper. Yes, right? Sista Keeper.
I was practicing last night, and I kept putting an A on the end of keeper. And my wife said, also, it's one word. Say it. Sista Keeper. I really have to think about it, though. But
yeah, so Sista Keeper started in 2002 in my basement. So like we're over 21 now. We've been growing for a minute. And the concept of sister with the A instead of an ER.
That's why I had, sorry, to clarify, that's why I had a problem with the ER at the end of keeper. Right. My brain would go, Sista Keeper.
Right.
No.
The keeper is keeper.
Keeper.
Okay.
Yes.
The sister basically means that ER, you may biologically have a sister or a brother. You have sisters?
I have two sisters. That's my only siblings. Two sisters.
All right. And how about you, Liz?
I'm an only child.
You're an only child?
I'm an only child.
I was raised an only child as well. I always wanted a sister.
I know, me too. Seriously, me too.
So that's what the A means. The A means that we're all sisters.
Oh, I love it.
I always tell everybody, just open up your multicultural Crayola box. If you find your color, that means you're a sister or a brother. And so you're my brother and you're my sister. And the keeper means that we have each other's back. And that's important because everybody wants somebody to have their back.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you have to be a keeper to yourself first.
That's an important reminder.
That is important.
Yeah.
So we started it because I am an only child. I dealt with bullying growing up, and I always wanted to have someone to talk to about my issues. And so having a community of girls to connect with was huge for me, and I wanted our girls in our community to do the same thing. So we started with 7 girls in my basement, and now it's local, national, and global. It's community-based, school-based. I'm a licensed therapist, so I knew that there was a need for our girls to journal their feelings and not put everything out. I didn't have social media back in the day. Back in the day. But hey, now we have all ways to connect. So we need to make sure that they go to inside first and start journaling out their feelings. So
that's fantastic, Tracie. And what a great segue into talking about social media, one of our topics today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Tracie, we know that social media is such a cool way that we are able to connect with, and everyone is a part of social media. I can't think of anybody who isn't. But we also know that there's some negative side effects to social media, like cyberbullying, low self-esteem, anxiety, and things surrounding that. But I would love to hear kind of with adolescents, kind of the role that social media kind of plays in those relationships that they have. So I would just love to know more about that from your perspective.
That's a good question. It's really layered because social media does play a huge role. And I was talking about how I didn't grow up with social media, but the average kid, they don't know life without it. That's all that they've ever known.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I work with girls who say they sleep with their phones, they wake up to their phones. If their phone is dead and there's someplace, they may leave. And so the positives to that, I think, is the value of connectivity. Like we can literally connect with each other. There's always someone that you can text and ask questions and get feedback. It's a space for social acceptance, but you can explore that identity expression of like, who do I think I want to be today? And get people to like and follow and subscribe and be a whole brand. But the negative piece to that is, what if the people that you follow or the people that you subscribe to or that algorithm is negative or people don't like what you're speaking about? So then you have that negative piece and then people are unfollowing you or speaking negative about you and then you feel alone. So it's like it's a catch-22 situation. You can have 1 million followers but no friends. You feel totally isolated.
Wow.
Yeah, that, and of course the relational aggression, the cyberbullying piece, which is huge.
So what do you think, or thinking about social media and what it's doing? I guess my question I kind of have, speaking to the educators out there, right? Social media is beyond the walls of the school,
Right.
But what kind of effects have you seen of social media, cyberbullying, relational aggression through those channels? How do you see that affect and influence, I guess, school culture, just even academics in general, and some of the work that you've done with
So
everything you do?
I think that in the schools that school and community, because I think it's not just in the schools, but
That's
a
a good
lot of
point.
the issues that happen when I talk to educators, they're like, on a Monday when we come back, everything has popped off and there's somebody that wants to give you all the tea.
Wow.
And they have the quote receipts to prove what happened, because we are in a society where everything is videotaped. And so people are recording each other. Our kids have this thing of FOMO, this fear of missing out.
That's so real.
And they want to be in the space and be popular. And so they are sharing each other's information and inboxing with negativity. And so it causes huge issues. And as a result of that, you may have, like I keep saying, back in the day, had an issue with someone and then went home and addressed it later or the next day. But these things occur in school and they carry over to when they go home and they're inboxing each other, because you're behind a screen. So you can say so many negative things about each other. So it is causing a lot of social anxiety. It's causing kids to deal with depression and feeling like I don't like myself because a lot of comparison is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, we have these kids. I keep saying we're comparing ourselves to a highlight reel that isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not just on one platform. There's several platforms.
And there's a new one all the time.
There's a new one all the time. There's a new one all the time. And some things is a story and it may leave in 24 hours. But there are kids who feel like this is going to destroy me for the rest of my life. And they just want to tap out. Or they don't feel like they have anyone to connect with them. Oftentimes girls say, I'll make a post and I'll check to see, even adults, if someone has followed me or liked it. And if not, they delete it. When it may really be the true essence of who they are. And then there are some people that just really like to connect online and they don't do good in person. They're not in-person people. They just like to be behind the screens.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm definitely one of those people, and I'm so guilty to say this, but I'm one of those people where I'm like, okay, I'm going to post this. I feel like I look really good in this post or things like that. And if it's not well received by my peers, I start to question that. And so all of those like negative thoughts creep in and I'm like, no, I'm going to take it down. I'm going to take it down. So
keep it up and just, that's the whole reason why people connect with you, because you're just being original you. That's joy, being original you, but also being authentic. And I think in this culture now, our kids are being more authentic. They're not getting attached to the filters. Now, there is a population of people who are, but your tribe, your algorithm will find you. If that's what you're talking about, is being true to yourself, which you are, then your people will find you. And if they don't, they're not your people.
Absolutely. That's incredible. Thank you for that. Thank you.
You weren't quite expecting to get a little...
I wasn't, but I was like, thank you, Tracie. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just like in light of that, just diving just a little bit deeper, like what role do you think social media does play in shaping the dynamics of those adolescent peer relationships? Like what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's really real quick. I really like that question because like when I was in school, our social media was just text. And we didn't have group text or anything like that. And so even for some, some would say fairly young, but even for me, it's still a disconnect. And I could see where educators might kind of have some of that gap as well, especially if they've been wonderfully teaching for so many different years.
Right. Well, I know that oftentimes our kids connect with people that they don't even know, but it's what they're connecting about. So I think the value of when I talk to girls is like, I'm a whole brand, I'm an influencer. And so I have this way of connecting with people who I may have never met before. But when someone in the community is interacting with a sport, then they can now be influencers. Our athletes now have brands and they're getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
We have
Lots of
kids
money.
that have YouTube pages and TikTok pages, and they may be in your school and they're TikTok famous. And you wouldn't know it because they show a different side of themselves in the classroom. And so really being able to tap into those kids and ask them what are their gifts, that behind the scene kid is probably the one that you would never know that they have 10,000 followers. But I think it also allows our kids to think about the variety of ways that they can connect with STEM. And we can definitely talk about all of those solutions. But at the end of the day, we have to go back to how are they using social media and how much
It's just a
time
tool.
are they
It's a
putting
tool.
into it. It is a tool.
Yeah.
But our schools really need to explore how can they expand, like, let me showcase the positive things that you're doing. Because at the end of the day, they're on social media because they want to be seen. They want to have a voice. And they want to make sure that their voice is being heard. So it's important that not only the educators educate themselves, but the parents, the grandparents. A lot of grandparents are raising their kids. And also really talking to them about what happens when you disconnect from social media. What are you doing? Are you interacting with sports? Are you interacting with band or all those different aspects of it? Because our kids, they multitask well. We often say that they're their attention span is shorter than a TikTok.
Yeah.
But because it's like we can go down a social media hole, and a lot of our kids talk about the amount of time you realize, oh my God, I've been on here all night long. I was talking to a parent recently, and
Liz just rose her hand.
Yes,
listeners, if you're not watching, just wanted to point that out.
If you are like just going alone and liking and watching things over and over again, I find myself doing it as well, just laughing out loud, literally. And then I was talking to a mom, and she said that her daughter was on social media she walked in the room and her daughter was asleep. And there was a group of girls, and they all were on a screen, sleep. And she said, what's going on here? When she woke her daughter up, she's like, they're all muted, but they're all asleep. And what we realized was that was their sleepover. Like, kids don't connect with each other anymore physically.
Yeah.
So that's their way of connecting. I remember back in the day, you know how you turn your phone in? They have to download all this information. And I told my daughter, look, we can't sit here and wait forever. We got to move on. She's like, no, these are all of my text messages to my boyfriend or my girlfriends. And I realized that's their love letters. Like, we have love letters in a shoebox. Right.
Yeah.
But everything is there. And so for people to understand, when you take a person's phone away or you disconnect them from social media, that may be their only communication to the world. And so we have to look at their why, address the why, but also give them other options outside of totally connecting with social media.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love that you talked about that. And I know that it's such an important avenue that students can use to connect with other people. I've never considered the whole sleepover via your phone type thing before. I've never thought about that, but wow. They're like yearning for that connectivity. And I'm just thinking kind of on the opposite side of it, back to when I started my social media journey way back in the day. There was a thing called MySpace.
Right.
There was a thing called MySpace.
Or Bebo. And
oh my gosh.
Different ones.
And
Zanga.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I've never heard of those. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I'm showing my age. I'm showing my age. But I'm just thinking about back to kind of your top 8. Your top 9 or whatever it was on MySpace, and the relational aggression piece, where if you had a friend who hurt your feelings, or she talked to the boy that you liked, or anything that's like petty or catty, you would take that friend off of your top 8, I think it was top 8, right? Because Tom was your other one. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, what role do you think that social media really does play in that relational aggression piece amongst adolescent girls and guys?
It is huge. Relational aggression, number one, is different because there's a difference between if one person is bullying you. But when you're behind a screen, everybody is liking and seeing and feeling that emotion along with you, either on a positive end or a negative end.
Yeah.
And all of their friends are there. It's like, look what I wrote about this person. And we know girls can be very messy. And so they're body shaming. They're talking about your hair. They're talking about your culture. They attack you in every form and fashion. And the thing about it is, oftentimes our girls will say they don't delete it. They don't take them out their top 5 because they want to know what they're saying about them. I'm like, why don't you block them? But they don't. And so they take it all in and over again to the point that it affects their self-esteem. And they're crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a difficult space. Relational aggression is real.
Yeah.
Everybody said girl drama is real. And it happens on a regular basis. And unfortunately, there is that middle school spot, but it happens as early as preschool where somebody says, you're not invited to my birthday party. The flyer comes out and you're not on the list.
Wow.
What does that look like?
Yeah. So we were seeing the statistic, and it was kind of saying like 33% of middle schoolers reported cyberbullying amongst students, and almost as high as 30% with high schoolers. Is there a reason why?
That middle school
piece
is so high?
Is there a reason to that?
Well, the middle school is a time when you're really trying to define yourself. So you put yourself out there this is the time when you typically do get a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so your amygdala, your brain is not fully developed. So you're very impulsive. So you might put a picture out there and see what people say and then immediately delete it. But you're going for it. When you get to high school, you're thinking it through just a little bit more. Everybody's talking about and saying, hey, you know what? We know that you're going off to college or you're trying to decide what it is that you want to do. And so you've made a couple of mistakes. But the other piece to that is you just want to experiment. It's your first opportunity. And you think, is this really WWW, the World Wide Web? Is everybody watching me? You don't realize, no, everybody's watching. And some things are not as easy to delete. So that middle school space, you're trying to define yourself. And you should have a safe space. This is why we tell you to put protective things in place so that you can just share with your friends. But now we got gaming, and you game live. Not only do you game live, people are going live. And so when you delete, no one knows what someone has said to you live. No one knows what your kids may have been exposed to live because they're seeing it in real time. And so it's important that we monitor it even more.
Tracie, that was incredible. Thank you so much. And it was so informational, not only on the way that students are really yearning for that connectivity with social media, but on the opposite side, just really the struggles that come along with it. After the break, we are going to come back and talk to Tracie kind of how we can address this cyberbullying, relational aggression issue with her L.O.V.E principles. And we'll see you in just a second.
Are you facing challenges at work or in your personal life or with your relationships? The Self-Regulation Skill Set for Educators by Brad Chapin is a powerful resource designed to help you overcome obstacles and build resilience. Whether you're navigating classroom stress, balancing family life, or dealing with difficult situations in any part of your life, this book provides practical tools and strategies that can help you manage stress, improve emotional regulation, and find a path forward. The skills outlined in this book have already helped countless educators and individuals reduce stress and boost their ability to handle life's challenges. Ready to make a change? Visit youthlight.com and get your copy of the Self-Regulation Skill Set for Educators today.
Earn professional development contact hours on AccuBud.com as you learn from the best in education. AccuBud.com is an online learning platform for educators with over 35 masterclass style courses. That's more than 75 professional development contact hours you can earn on subjects such as classroom management, innovative teaching strategies, student engagement, and several more topics. AccuEd.com is full of practical, insightful training from K-12 thought leaders such as Pedro Noguera, Michelle Borba, Rudy Cafele, Barbara Coloroso, and Michael Bonner. Head over to AccuEd.com to get started. Come on, let's learn together.
Join us at the Innovative School Summit, the nation's top K-12 education conference. Connect with internationally recognized thought leaders, educators, and consultants as we dive into game-changing teaching strategies and research-based methods. Each summit features multiple conferences, all in one location, covering topics like at-risk students, innovative teaching strategies, school discipline, and more. Create your own learning experience by choosing sessions from any of the conferences. With events in cities like New York, Orlando, Las Vegas, Nashville, and San Antonio, there's always a summit near you. There are 2 upcoming summits, and we want you there. One in Las Vegas from July 7th through the 11th, and one in Nashville from July 14th through the 18th. Go to innovativeschoolsummit.com to register. See you there.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Innovative Schools podcast. I'm Jordan here with Liz and Tracie Berry-McGhee. We've been talking about social media, cyberbullying, how it affects the kind of adolescent mind and relationships and all this other stuff that can find its way into schools, into classrooms.
Right.
And so that was all really informative, but there's still kind of this lingering question of, what do we do about these challenges that we talked about? And you have something called the L.O.V.E principles. Can you tell us just a little bit, and then we'll kind of dive into more about them?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest impacts that social media has on girls is their self-esteem. They don't see themselves as being beautiful. They compare themselves to others. And as a result of that, we have to really look at how are you loving yourself. And so the LOVE principle is an acronym that I came up with, and the L is a listen. Like, we really have to, at times, put down the phone, shut the tablets, the laptops, and truly listen to ourselves. Really go inside and block out the negativity, because we always say hurt people, right? And a lot of the cyberbullying and the relational aggression happens because someone else is hurting. So it's really important to start listening to your gut, listening to yourself, and listening to the people that we talked about this in the first half, finding your tribe, people that will uplift you and cheer you on, and really block out that negativity. The O.
Can I just for 1 second? What are some things that a teacher can do? I don't know if this is in a classroom kind of thing or a group or an individual to help. You know,
right.
Well, girls, boy, I get whoever
everyone.
to listen more. Is there some activities or something that you have?
So we do a lot of groups and circles. You can do the restorative justice circles, and making sure that you have a safe space for them to really be able to do some self-regulation. So to be able to sit down with yourself and do meditation is really important, because you're listening to yourself.
Yeah.
And being able to just close your eyes and shut everything down. A lot of kids don't like to shut their eyes, and that's okay as well. Listening to your favorite song or something outside of the social media piece to quiet your mind. That's really important.
Got it.
Yes. The O in the LOVE principle is observe. Observe. As educators, we have to be able to observe nonverbals.
Yeah.
Our kids speak very loud. We talked about educational equity a little bit. Our nonverbals as girls in general, we can say a lot. We're like,
yeah.
Tracie is making snarking eyes. Is that the way to
they call
describe
that? Sneak dissing, right?
Okay.
They just kind of look at you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
And boys do it too. But they can let you know if they like you or they don't like you without even talking. So we have to observe nonverbals. If you're in a space where we are working with girls, in a space that it's a group, observe who sits next to each other 1 week, who doesn't sit next to each other. When they come into the classroom, if they have a hoodie on, or because maybe her hair isn't combed, or there's some issues that he didn't get his hair cut. Observe how they're dressed, how they might dress one day and the next day they don't. So you want to make sure that you observe the nonverbals, because nonverbals speak loud. We witnessed that during the pandemic. You can have on a mask and you can tell if a person's sad, if they're happy, if they're frustrated. Sure. So we got to tap into giving each other that eye contact and being able to read nonverbals appropriately.
Yeah, I studied. I did a couple communications courses in college, and I mean the emphasis on nonverbals, and like even, with the relationships I find myself in with, that's either my wife or actually, here's the better way to explain this. My daughter started school in 2020.
Yes.
Like as a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, she was in pre-K 3, and her teacher would just tell us how much she could tell how my daughter felt just on the eyebrows, and she would be like, because you had the mask over the face, couldn't see anything. And her teacher was just like, I can tell if she's happy or if she's sad, if she said something snarky, if she whatever.
Right.
Just from the eyebrows, and how important posture and like even the little things of just the little changes in how your eyes are. It can really tell a lot of what you're saying on the outside may not be matching on the inside.
And that's why you can look at someone and you're like, what? They don't have to say anything. You're like, what do you mean what? Something's going on. And if it's your friend, they can pick it up right away. So as an educator, you know your students, and you'll pick that up the moment they walk into the classroom. The V in the LOVE principle is validate. We have to learn to validate each other. We want to validate our students, allow them to see that we see them, we hear them, but also self-validation, affirming them. I'm always about affirmations. We have to constantly give kids those sayings. We have a pledge that we use in our program, but everybody can have a pledge or mission statement,
Mm-hmm.
something that you say to yourself on an ongoing basis to affirm yourself. I am beautiful. I'm loved. I
Yeah.
appreciate myself. I see myself. I see you.
Yeah.
It's important to be seen. So that self-validation and validating each other is important. And then the E for educators is we want to educate and we want to empower. The EM in empower is we. This is a we thing. We're all in this together. We have more in common than we do different. So to be able to empower a young person to realize that you don't have to compare yourself to anyone else on social media, period. As the kids say, period. I define me. The joy of just being original you is there's value there.
Mm-hmm.
And when we realize that, then your self-esteem increases
Yeah.
tremendously because you're not comparing yourself to anyone else. And why compare yourself to anyone else anyway? Everybody else is taken. Be you. Just be you.
You're the best you could
Be
be.
the best you can be.
That's incredible.
And you'll find your tribe.
Mm.
They'll find the algorithm that fits them, and we'll all be happy because we have connected in a positive way. I always tell people that social media is not going anywhere. So we have to figure out a way to make sure that our kids connect.
Mm-hmm.
And when you need to disconnect, be able to have some self-regulation, to love yourself enough to say, I have some other tools. I'm going to journal my feelings, connect with my friends in person, meet me at the playground, and listen to music or find other ways to truly connect in a circle where it's a safe space. So creating a safe space to love on each other.
Yeah.
So it's listen, observe, validate, and empower.
Empower.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had a question. So we talked about earlier. We said that social media is a tool, and we have the love principle and everything that goes into that. Can social media be used also in a way
That's
to
a great question.
like exercise the love principles,
Yes.
that kind of thing?
Yes. So earlier we talked about everybody being a brand. That's a huge thing. What do you represent? How are you putting positive things out there? Because there are a lot of resources out in the social media world that we need to tap into. So if you know that you're struggling and you need someone to listen to you or you want to be the voice for something positive, then you can literally tap in and go live and say, hey, I want to make sure that I want everyone to know the value of being true to yourself, or saying my affirmation of the day is, one of the things I love to do is what's in your cup. I'm a therapist. So my cup may be full or empty. And I ask everybody, what's in your cup? My cup is empty and I need to fill it up, and giving a tip for that. So I want everybody to listen in. Or I love coffee. So it could be something like that. My cup, I drink my coffee black, no sugar, no cream. So I want to give it to you straight. Like, what does it look like for you to be able to give a positive tip? So that's really a cool way to do it. The observe is maybe you don't like to talk a lot. And so you want to go out and do something where people are observing, and we may do some meditation together and you tap in, or you want to show somebody a tip on how to just go walk, and then you put the words up. But there's so many ways to tap in and use social media in a positive way. It may be that you don't show your face, that you just validate and you show a word of that day. Or you take a picture of a piece of art or a flower or sunflower or something like that. And then the we thing is, I always talk about selfies and ussies and wheezies. Selfies, wheezies, and ussies. We can do this together. You don't have to do it alone. But also know when it's time to tap out and listen and observe and validate and empower yourself. We have to find the balance. And it's not easy. It's never going to be easy because social media is always going to be here. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a really good point. I think about this of social media being it's just a tool. A hammer can build and it can destroy, and how it's used. And I love the idea of trying to flood. That's what I think of, flooding social media with just the good sides, the positive, the stuff that can help. I'll even sometimes when I get stuck in that loop of just looking through reels, and I come across the one that says, turn your phone off.
I'm like, oh, thank you.
That social media.
And I'm like-
thing is-
I'm like, okay,
that's a good one.
you're
Yeah.
right.
It's time because you'll look up and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, I've been on here for hours.
Yeah.
But I often ask people, when's the last time you took a social media cleansing?
Seriously.
I mean, outside of families going on vacation or a cruise, or if you go to have dinner and everybody puts the phone down, like eye-to-eye contact is real. Being with real people, gaming in real life, board games, all those type of things are really fun. And so oftentimes we don't have to take a picture. I saw a social media video where they talk about you don't have to take a picture of your food, just eat it. I'm always taking a picture. I'm like, no, I love to take a
Phone
picture.
eats first.
Save this moment.
Yeah, phone eats
And
first.
I'm always on. But at the end of the day, we have to be able to disconnect and connect to each other. That's true love.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Connecting with your daughter.
Yeah.
Connecting with our besties.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah. Well, all right. Thank you, Tracie, so much for just helping shed light on social media and what our young people are really experiencing in that social media realm and how it really does impact our relationships on the day-to-day basis. So thank you so much for sharing your insights with
Thank you.
us.
Thank you for having me.
It's
Let's
been
take
it's been
a
wonderful.
Wheezy.
Yeah, seriously, we need to.
We will. We'll post it on our social media.
Absolutely.
We'll put it-
Awesome.
I mean, don't look at the social media. I'm kind of confused now, but that's okay.
No, we're gonna post it because we post with purpose
You're right.
Absolutely.
and we post with permission.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
I love that.
That's great. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Innovative Schools podcast. We had a great time talking with Tracie Berry-McGhee. If you want to bring her to your school to do some of her training on girl bullying and relationships and all those different things, we've put links to all of that down in the show notes. Whether you want to check out the Wellness Mobile or see Joy, the mascot, we'll have all that in the show notes for you. So make sure you check that out and connect with Tracie to learn more about the wonderful work that she's doing. I want to ask you that if you liked this podcast, please share this with your colleagues and with your friends. Leave a comment and a review and subscribe. It helps us reach more educators, and that's really what we want to do. We don't want to be, we're not trying to push anything to be this big podcast other than in the fact that we want to help educate and empower and give educators tools and resources that they need. And that happens when you like and subscribe and follow and all of those different things with the podcast and share it. So I want to ask you to do that. Teaching is difficult, and we recognize that. And the late nights and the hard work that you guys do is rewarded by the success of your students, and we want to help you help your students succeed. I hope that you learned something in today's podcast that you can take into your classroom the next time you teach, whether that's later today, next week, next month, or whenever. So I hope you learned something, and we'll see you on the next Innovative Schools podcast.